This video is in response to a question that I received recently. The question is, what, in my opinion, are the top Jing tonics that are most affordable and the most reasonable, broad spectrum, and effective for the long term? Because for Jing, you really want to think in more of the long term. It's not something to where you're going to take an herb for a week and then your life is going to be changed forever and that's all you need to do. You know, kind of like it takes us time to get in a position, or it takes us time to get into a situation where we need to correct an imbalance. It's going to take time to get out of that imbalance. It's going to take time to fill in the crevice. It's going to take time to restore balance and homeostasis to the situation. So for us to just expect overnight results and for our youth to come back in a night or a week or 3 days is pretty silly. Now, that's not to discount the fact that we can't have profound shifts and profound changes, you know, in very short amount of times, because that is possible and that happens quite frequently. I think we should be reasonable and understand that we got ourselves in a situation, so now we need to make changes and shifts to get ourselves out of the situation. So with that being said, my top 3 Jing tonics, Jing tonic herbs that nourish the Jing and build the Jing and rebuild this essence, that are the most affordable, the most sustainable, the most broad spectrum, the most well tolerated, the most beneficial for the long term would be number 1, cordyceps, number 2, hoshiwu, and a close third would be goji. Now, these have been my favorite Jing tonics, I think since day one, when I first started taking herbs. These were some of the first herbs that I took, because like cordyceps, for example, it's so broad spectrum. It's such a powerful Jing tonic and such a powerful anti-aging, rejuvenating herb, but it's also a profound lung tonic, a profound qi tonic, in that it increases ATP and oxygen utilization. It also is a powerful immune tonic, so it has these polysaccharides, these beta-glucans that modulate and tonify and balance and strengthen our immune system. So it has this long-term kidney yin and yang Jing restorative effect, but it also has an immune boosting effect, an immune balancing, and immune modulating effect, as well as an energizing effect. So it really helps people with anxiety, which is something that you wouldn't necessarily think, but actually, because it opens up the lungs and helps with the breathing so much, many times people with anxiety attacks, panic attacks, have their situations improved dramatically or just completely remedied to where they can move on and not have to worry about it anymore. So that's cordyceps, and that's why it's probably my number one, or it is my number 1 tonic. Second would be hoshiwu. Hoshiwu is a yin Jing and a blood herb, and it's famous for being able to reverse graying hair or keep the hair growing thick and full. Also is very famous for being a powerful rejuvenating herb. So for someone who's spent a lot of their kidney energy, who's spent a lot of their Jing energy, needs to get it back in a surefire way, hoshiwu is probably the top herb to help someone restore and rejuvenate. Sometimes just from the first dose, someone's knocked out, they start to sleep better, they start to sleep deeper, wake up feeling more refreshed. I know for me, when I started taking it, it was bad news for my early morning classes. Granted, I hated the classes, I didn't want to go to them anyways, so the choice between let me just sleep longer because I know my body wants it, I know my body wants to restore, or let me go and do something I hate, it was a pretty easy choice for me to make. But I still got good grades, but I just missed a lot of class, whatever. So the point of that story is hoshiwu will help you sleep deeper, wake up feeling more refreshed, and that's just something that will keep building up over time, because it retrains you on how to be yin. It retrains you on how to actually understand what it is to rest and relax and rejuvenate. Because we think relaxation is just sitting in front of the TV or not working or laying on a couch, when that's not really relaxation. Relaxation isn't just... Alright, sorry about that. The Census Bureau actually just knocked on my door for some reason. So I got this document that's telling me something. Anyways, being yin is a skill. It's something that needs to be developed. It's something that sure is inherent to our being, but because we get so far out of balance and jacked up on all of this modern stimulation, we forget that skill, we lose the skill. So it's something that needs to be cultivated and built and learned. So Ho Shou Wu is an herb that will educate you, educate your nervous system on how to actually rebuild, restore, and replenish. It also builds blood, which is very important. It's also very grounding, very calming and soothing to the nervous system. It just really helps calm the nervous system, calm the mind, and really teach us what it's like to not operate on stress, to not operate on fight or flight, to not operate on fear and anxiety and paranoia so much, and operate more from a calm, grounded, peaceful, protected, not nutrified, but a calm, protected, way of being. That's because when our kidney essence is very strong, we feel protected. We feel that we can go out into the world and do what we need to do. We're not so prone to fear and paranoia and feeling afraid, like, oh, well, if we hit some stress, it's going to be bad news, or if we hit a little bump in the road, it's going to really knock us down. We know that we have reserves of energy, so that we can go do what we need to do. So that's Ho Shou Wu, and that's number 2. Third herb is goji, or lycium, as it's called. This herb was one of the top herbs that became famous because of someone called Li King Yuan, who was supposedly lived to be like 256 years old. Goji was something that he consumed every single day, not in the superfood, raw food form like we get it today. He probably didn't eat it. He probably cooked with it, cooked tea with it, put it in tinctures. But you can do all those things with it, eat it raw, cook it in your teas, cook it in your soups, cook it in all of your grains, cook it in all of your dishes, make tinctures out of it, everything. It's good. And the things you're needing out of it, the polysaccharides and a lot of these, unique concentrated nutrients come out in tea, come out in these other preparations, and they're not destroyed or harmed by heat. So Ho Shou Wu, or for goji, is actually another yin jing herb that nourishes the blood and also nourishes the liver and kidneys. So it's my favorite just because it does so much in the body, and it's such a surefire tonic, and it's so well tolerated, and it's so affordable, and it tastes good, and it just has a deep intuitive resonance with me. So one reason why it's so profound at being an anti-aging, rejuvenating herb is that it's called a secretagogue, and that means that it's an herb food that helps the brain or the body or the pituitary produce more human growth hormone. So it kind of really works on the endocrine system in helping us not only feel younger mentally, emotionally, but also chemically, hormonally, feel younger, and to start to take our hormonal profile from more of an aging, declining point of view up into something that's more more closer to where we were when we were in much more balance, and we're feeling much stronger, had better reserves, had a better life force, all of these things. So that's my top 3 Jing herbs. Of course, deer antler is a great Jing tonic, and there are plenty of other herbs that nourish the Jing. But for affordability, sustainability, taste, potency, effectiveness, these are my top 3 that I've used more than anything else over the last 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and had the best results with. The others have just been kind of interspersed. These have been the foundation for myself, for a lot of people that I've worked with who have gotten pretty profound results, and for my friends who've experimented with it through people that I've talked to online. These are the ones that seem to have the most history, the most usage, the most broad spectrum effect. So that's the answer to that question, despite the interruption by the Census Bureau. And so if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.